guys, and today we have here another very awesome deck profile. We have here a shaddoll deck. Yes, next week we are getting anomonlith in the TCG that is going to be coming out, and so we're getting also a variety of new cards. And this is a nekroz build. Because the thing with the nekroz build compared to like the Mistake and Mind Crush and Crush card build with a whole bunch of trap cards is that it just makes it a lot easier for Treeborn Frog, because otherwise you can't play Treeborn Frog. There's a whole bunch of traps. Even if I was playing that deck, I'd still probably play Treeborn Frog, because like, you don't need him every single turn. He's just there for synchro or something and tribute fodder for beast. But yeah, so I'm playing the nekroz build because I feel it's probably a good build. Just helps with the whole control aspect. You summon out a Winda against the Telknights, plop down a Nekroz. Well, not necessarily in that order, but you do that and they just can't do anything anymore. They can only get one special summon per turn, and as long as you can stop them from XZ summoning, you're in a good position. So let's just go right into the deck profile. We have 1 BLS, 3 Beast, 2 Dragons, 2 Squamata, 2 Nekroz. Hate this card, needs to go to 1, and we're only running 2 because you don't really need 3, and yeah. 3 Mathematician, great normal summon. Although really, I'm kind of iffy if Armageddon Knight is better, because Armageddon Knight can be switched by Rhoda, so 3 Armageddon Knight, 2 Rhoda doesn't sound like the worst of ideas. 3 Hedgehog. Running 3 Hedgehog just because I want to make sure I have enough targets to fusion summon and do all the stuff that needs to be done, because I don't want to run out of shaddoll monsters too quick, because a lot of times the way shadolls are being played is they are using Squamata right away to deck them. Like I remember when shadolls first came out, that's how you played. You go Mathematician, Squamata, Hedgehog instead, but then players would stop doing that and be like, oh no, we need to conserve our shaddoll monsters, and so they go Mathematician just straight into Hedgehog to save the Squamata. But now you kind of need to do a whole bunch of deck thinning so that way you can get to your hand traps, such as Yuki-Osagi. This card's going to get a really awful name in the TCG, but Yuki-Osagi, really good hand trap. If a monster effect or spell or trap card effect is activated, you can ditch her to destroy the card. Doesn't negate it, but destroys it, so not bad. Like, it's gone, so you're not going to take damage from the monster. It's an answer to Vanities or Macro if it's in your hand, so good. Pero. If you want, you can put Glow Bulb instead. This is just a card that a lot of people are playing and isn't that bad. 3 Falco, because Falco is probably one of the best shaddoll monsters in the game. 3 Maxi, because we need some way to get our hand traps. And again, we're not running too many traps, so this can be something to make players think against doing a whole bunch of special summoning, so that is the thing. 1 Treeborn Frog, and he's just there so we have a water target for anomonlith, but he really isn't the most important thing in the world. He helps with making just level 7s, I guess, or just a variety of different things, and he just helps with synchro summoning in general. And then 2 Effect Failures, so we have more hand traps. 1 Rejeki, only 1 shaddoll fusion, because I don't think you really need too many, honestly. Like, unless you're going up against Ritual Beasts or your Senjus where they have those macros, you don't really need them. Like, against Nekroz, they're not going to be running that, so as long as they don't banish it. And, like, they're not going to be able to banish all, like, these 3 shaddoll fusion cards, they're not going to be able to banish all of them. They're not, so you should be pretty well protected, unless they get very lucky and banish 1 from grave, 1 from hand, and 1 from field. You should be able to do very well against just these, because drawing into them after you already have 1, they're just dead. Like 2 shaddoll fusions, you're not gonna be able to use 2 shaddoll fusions in 1 turn, so it's all right. And you can easily just cycle them, like Falco into Leo with Construct. This is a 9, I believe, so yeah, you can make Star Eater if you want. So it's not that hard to cycle them back. Then we have the 1 Soul Charge, because again, Construct gets her effect when she special summoned a period. So yeah, she can get her effect and Soul Charge with a whole bunch of tuners. This is a tuner and it's a psychic, so E-Telly. And it also works if it's on the field, because you can send it. I forgot to mention that it doesn't have to be in hand, it can also be on field. So that is something. And so then, yeah, there's just a whole bunch of tuners, so you do some really good Soul Charge plays. Clearing Synchro Dragon is really good against a lot of decks, so yeah. Foolish Burial, Swiss Army Knife. 2 El Shaddoll fusions, and then 1 Nef Shaddoll fusion. You need to run this card because you can't fusion some from the deck against nekroz, and you need to make anomonlith against nekroz. So you can't guarantee that you're going to have your 1 Treeborn Frog, so you need something that can help you make anomonlith really quickly. So this is probably a card. Wouldn't be surprised if people sided in another one against nekroz, because you need to be able to make anomonlith. So you're going to have to run this card. It isn't the best card in the world for fusion summoning. It's probably the last one I'd ever search against other matchups, but against nekroz, you kind of need this card. And then we have 3 Sinister Shadow Games just for deck thinning. And then 1 Shaddoll Core. Again, this guy can be used as any attribute for fusion summon, so this is an anomonlith target. You can't fusion summon from deck. And it's a level 9 trap monster, so why not? And that is the main deck. It is alright. I mean, you still have traps that your opponent has to worry about with Yu-Gi-Oh! Usagi and Effect Veiler. Despite having nekroz, so they might feel, oh, he has the nekroz, I'm protected, I can do whatever I want. Oh, he has no backup, I can do whatever I want. Nope, Yu-Gi-Oh! Usagi, Effect Veiler. And really, I still see the problem. I talked about this when Shaddolls first came out, because when I go to make Construct, of course, I'm either using Yu-Gi-Oh! Usagi or Effect Veiler being the one that I use first. And at that point, I'm always thinking, what is that doing? Because I hate using a card for Shaddoll Fusion and it doesn't do anything. So I kind of miss AD Changer, but there isn't any room for AD Changer. Like, Effect Veiler doesn't do anything in Grave, so that just makes me unhappy. Yu-Gi-Oh! Usagi doesn't do anything in Grave. And if I use them for Fusion Summoning, I'm not going to be using their effects. So it's kind of like, why do I have them in here? But it's just for the situation where I have an Effect Veiler or I max C into an Effect Veiler. And yeah. So, that's why they're in there. But again, it just doesn't feel right to me when they're not doing anything in the graveyard, or they didn't do anything at all on that game, except the fusion material. I just see that as a little bit of waste, but nothing we can do about it. For the extra deck, we have 2 Shekis, really good, just great to use. Trap Trick Trapple Nightmare pretty much is really nice. Anomonlith to stop special summons from hand or graveyard with spell trap card effects. Shutdowns Call the Haunted against Statella, so that is something to note. That is actually really good to note, because Call the Haunted is very important in the late game for Statella. 2 constructs, we're running 2 of the main ones, and 2 windows to shut down almost all special summons. And we run no XZ monsters because there's really no room, and yeah, getting up to level 4s just doesn't sound right. I don't think it's the easiest thing in the world. 1 Starter, 1 Leo, like a lot of these is just so that way you can, specifically the higher ups, so just so that way you can cycle your shell fusions and whatnot. Mistwimp, love Mistwimp, just bounce back 3. Clearing Synchro Dragon is another good card. If you can get him out and anomonlith, bye nekroz. Like this card really helps out against nekroz. Really got its Ghost Rare. And if you don't know its effect, once per turn during either player's turn, when another level 5 or higher monster on the field activates effect, destroy it, and this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack. It's turned during either player's turn when the monster effect is activated. Any monster effect that activates that targets exactly 1 level 5 or higher monster on the field, negate that activation if you do destroy it, and it gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's attack until the end of the turn. So it is really interesting. Not only that, this card can negate Construct during the damage step. So against a mirror match, it's good. But the thing that's more important is it can negate your own Construct, which means it gains 2800 attack, which means it is at 53 attack, which would then drop down to 48 attack if Towers was on the field. So this card is an answer to Towers. If you can make both Construct and him, he can get over Towers. You attack into a special monster, Construct's effect will activate, you negate it, he goes up to a whole bunch of an attack. And so that is him. Then we of course have the 1 Black Rose, and then Tempest Magician. He is the cowboy of the deck. Goyo, yeah, he isn't that good. And I think Shaddoll monsters get their effects when used, so when discarded from hand, so he can gain a whole bunch of counters. You can put like 3 or 4 on him, and then he can do 15 or 2000 damage, so that can be really good just to go to game. And then the 1 on Modis. The 1 on Modis is really nice, and Yeah, just good for mirror match hands, any rogue deck. So that is the deck profile. Again, it's still the same deck. Nekroz really good because it just shuts down back row, lets you make your play, and then effect failure and Yu-Gi-Oh! Saki is really nice. So really interesting. So tell me what you guys think of this deck. Do you think Shaddolls is going to be really big now that it got all this new support? Do you think it's going to be better than Nekroz? And what do you guys think of Yu-Gi-Oh! Saki? What do you think of Yu-Gi-Oh! Saki? So tell that all down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later.